because you can see the sun through the trees. So I'm like, oh, that'll be a cute shot. And then what's in the shot? Where's Chomper? Found him. You're an important part of this show, buddy. Okay. Hi, welcome, or welcome back. My name is Jeffrey. I am an aspiring author. That's the intro. I've been documenting my experience with writing within the last couple months on this channel. Currently, I am working on a project called Crystalline Harbor. It is a supernatural story. That's actually exactly what I'm going to talk about today because I have updates. Hooray!
Riveting content.
No, I think we're doing good. We're doing great, and there's great things coming. Last time I talked on here, which was like 2 days ago. So what happened? Let me gather my thoughts. So a few days ago, I thought I was ready to kind of start the story. I did like a good amount of planning beforehand where I was just like, okay, I'm at least going to figure out like what are the major landmarks that I want to look for while I write this story. So like I know what I'm going to be building to with every single step of the way. It's just I'm also exploring other things. I think that's fun. Yeah, no, but so what I ended up doing, I had this random idea one of these last few days this week, and I was like, this would be a pretty interesting way to open it. I wanted to like sort of showcase a few moments in my protagonist's life that, you know, mattered. Things that mattered and would set up some other stuff in the story. It ended up feeling very telly. I wrote a few pages of it and I was just like, oh man, I thought this was a good idea. I don't know if this is a good idea. And then I justified it by just being like, listen, worst case scenario, I don't use any of this, and I at least created a backstory. Anyway, I ended up embracing that completely, and I decided to expand on that. I'm gonna write from my protagonist's perspective. I'm gonna have him just tell me what his backstory is. What are the big moments for like all of our main characters that we're gonna meet? Him meeting them. What are his experiences with them? And then there's like curses involved in my story. So I'm like, okay, how did he learn about the curse that affects his life so very deeply? And then how did he learn about the other curse that also affects his life so very deeply? There's two curses. It's great. I don't know. Yeah, it was just so I ended up I ended up writing like maybe like 17 pages of backstory. And honestly, it shifted a lot of things that I initially had planned. So like a lot of the character dynamics are like everything's different now, you guys. Will, I now understand him on an even deeper level. When I've written him before, he's always felt a little bit like adolescent, which is not what I was going for at all, and that always disappointed me. It was just like, oh, he sounds so childish in a lot of these sequences, and it's just like, I don't want that. I don't really know how to explain it. He just feels he feels correct this time. One of the other main characters, Mitch, I ended up figuring out honestly some stuff that I was a little bit confused about like what to do with him, but I figured out stuff about him. Oh, Stevie's role is like so different than I initially thought, and I'm really kind of into it. So I ended up giving her a little bit of a personality transplant just because I'm not going to lie, when I was starting the backstory, I was just like she's a little bit boring here. How can I shift this up a little bit? And so I remembered I wrote a draft with her way back when where she was more of this like wild party girl. And I was like, I should go back to that. So I was kind of just like, ooh, party girl who like is now dealing with the consequences of like her very terrible actions. I don't know. It's just like damn, her and Will's like friendship is going to be put to the test in this draft. I'm excited for it. But then Cordelia. Okay, I talked a little bit about Cordelia before, but again, she was kind of the same as Will, where I was like, she feels a little bit adolescent. Like she feels very like high school mean girl. And again, they're supposed to be in like their mid to late 20s. So what I did basically was I was just like, okay, in the backstory, we're gonna give her her little like high school mean girl arc. I don't know how much I really want to share, but it's just like her with like getting humbled a little bit and just being like, oh, I have to be a bit more of an adult right now, I think. So that was like honestly really cool to like give her that little transformation. Initially, her and Will were supposed to be like at each other's necks the entire time, and I think they're still gonna have this like clashing dynamic. But like low key, Cordelia just became like Will's best friend, and I kind of like it. I expanded on Will's family a lot. I gave Stevie's family a little bit of a backstory. We are like never gonna see them. I figured out a lot of stuff through this backstory project. So now I'm like, ooh, I feel really comfortable. Not only do I feel comfortable starting, I'm like excited to start. So I think I'm gonna try to do that today. But hold on, let me. Something I'm trying to do with the new year. I'm trying to be more crafty. I'm trying to embrace more of a whimsy gothic sort of aesthetic and maybe lifestyle. We'll find out. I'm very bad at shifting my lifestyle, so we'll see. Sorry, let me open this. I got a bunch of these like jars, so I think I'm gonna do a little DIY project today and make these little like potion jars. I don't know. I just thought it'd be fun. I thought because my story's witchy. With all that being said, I think I'm gonna start doing stuff today. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So I ended up doing a little bit of crafting today. That was actually pretty fun. It was pretty nice. Let me actually go grab one. Hold on. Ooh, which one do I want to grab? So I made these little potion bottles basically. I don't know how well you can see it, but I don't know. Yeah, I thought this was fun. I thought it was very whimsical and witchy, and I think that goes in theme with what I've been doing lately. I might be ready to start chapter one, maybe, because I feel like I know what I want to do with the first chapter anyway. Something I'm trying to do lately is ask myself, would I be okay today if I wrote something that I wasn't completely in love with? Does that make sense? I don't think that makes sense. If I write something down and it's not exactly what I wanted, am I going to like get all depressed about it? I don't think that I will. Personally, I don't think I will, but it's a valid thing to ask myself right now because I've had a few days lately. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a go and try to see if I can start anything today. And I will get back to you on how it went. Yeah. Oh, where do I want to put you? Does that work for you? I think it works for me. Okay, so I wrote out like what I would consider to be like the basic idea of the first chapter. It's a first draft, so I'm not gonna beat myself up because it's not exactly the most perfect thing in the world. I don't want to say I didn't really know how to start, but I was kind of trying to figure out how to do so in a proper way. Because all I knew was I wanted to like introduce like the basics of my main character's world. I don't know. I think I planted enough like clues as to what his internal issues are. So I think I would say that's successful. I think overall I was pretty successful. Cause yeah, and then I introduced some of no, I actually really didn't introduce any of the like major characters outside of Will. We met Stevie, um, and then given the new dynamic that I'm gonna be working with, it was nice to sort of like, I mean, not really nice, but there's tension there. So I was like, that's fun. I love that. I like tension. I love drama. But we haven't gotten to meet like any of the other characters yet. And then something else that I was kind of like not necessarily struggling with, because I know what's going on. I know like I know about the investigation team that I'm referring to. I know about the magic system. I know what Will's referring to when he talks about whatever internal conflict he's talking about. I think I was delivering the information in a way that was like, if I was a stranger reading it, I would be like asking questions about, ooh, what happened? Ooh, what's this about? Ooh, what do you mean there's a humanoid creature with long nails and glowing eyes crawling around and robbing the store right now? Oh, I can't wait to get to that character. That's a fun character for me. There's still some time in the day. I don't know how much more energy I have realistically. So actually, real quickly, I think I'd like to cuz I don't know. Usually like when I'm writing a first chapter, I feel like first of all, I feel like I half-ass it half the time cuz I'm just like, oh, it's going to be terrible no matter what anyway. I can fix it later. But I don't know. I feel like it came out relatively successful. So I'm pretty happy with that. I would say my only thing was I was a little bit like hesitant about I was alluding to this before. Just like saying certain things. I didn't want to be like outright about certain stuff, but I also was just like how do I deliver it in a way that's not going to be like telling rather than like because I know show don't tell is like a major thing. It's like how do you deliver information from like a first person point of view from someone who's been living in the world for so long? Like they're gonna talk about it so naturally. So then it's just like, ooh, will that be like? Will that throw people off? Which again, this is all stuff I can fix later. It's not a big deal. I was trying to justify it to myself and just be like, I think you just need to like don't over explain things. Overall, I'm not mad at the experience. I thought it went pretty well. Sorry, I'm like staring at one of the potion jars I made and I'm like, wow, that one actually looks pretty good. Yeah, no, I don't know. I can't complain too much because I'm just like, you know what? I'm proud of the start. I'm proud of myself for starting. And I think going forward it will get easier and easier. I feel good about this one. So far. So far. I think that's about a good point to cut it. I really don't have anything else major that I'm gonna do today. Because yeah, I did pretty much everything. I did my crafts, I did my writing, I did cleaning. Oh, these squirrels are fighting and they're fighting like crazy out there. Get 'em. Get 'em. If you made it this far, hey, thanks for watching. That's pretty neat. What is your experience with writing a first chapter like usually? Do you usually feel good afterwards? Do you usually hate it and delete it immediately? Because I used to do that a lot. And then of course I want to know like, hey, what are you working on? Are you working on a new project? I hope so. 2026 is our year, people. Come on, let's get creative. If you'd like, hey, maybe consider subscribing and sticking around, and we can do this more often if you want it. I don't know, that felt weird to be like, hey, please subscribe. I'll see you next time. Yeah. I'll see you next time. Thanks.